Hello and welcome to Women Engage. We're so pleased that you could join us on our program today. Today we're going to be talking about being a woman in the workplace. I want to begin by welcoming my panelists, and I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself to our audience. Please tell us your name and tell us what you do professionally. So I'll begin. My name is Jocelyn Isabirie. I am a teacher and I'm a school administrator.
My name is Debbie Maloba. I'm in charge of women and children, empowering them, nurturing them in East Central Africa Division, located here in Nairobi.
My name is Rose Misati. I'm a public health specialist. I work with Nairobi County government.
My name is Merigate Tui. My day-to-day life is in a university classroom and other activities related to the profession of a professor in religion.
Okay, thank you and welcome, ladies. So we're talking about being a woman in the workplace. And all of us are professional women. And there are challenges that we face just because we are women. Of course, there are challenges that everyone faces in the workplace. But what are these challenges that we face as women in the workplace?
The expectations on a woman are high, much higher than what is expected of a man. For example, a woman is expected to be nice and kind and gentle and feminine. So if she's the boss and she's demanding results, she's seen as being aggressive, as being too tough. Many times we have heard that women bosses are very tough. But for me, I feel it's because of the expectation. A man would do the same thing that a woman does, there is no problem. But if a woman does, then she's seen as being very tyrannical. Yeah, so for me, those expectations, sometimes they can be a challenge. Yeah.
Sometimes we face challenges of a feeling that we are not supported, especially when you are the only woman in that organization, that institution. You feel like what I'm doing, sometimes people, they don't really appreciate it. I wish I had somebody on whom to relate, or who could be even my role model, so that when I make a mistake, she's there to help me, so that I feel like, yes, there is somebody there to support me or to help me, to push me. Yeah.
And I think that's another challenge, is that often, in some professions more than others, and as you climb higher up on the rung, the professional rung, you find you're the only woman, or there are very few of you. Yes. And so, yes, there's that feeling of being isolated.
Isolated, yeah.
Yeah, it's not always in my mind that I'm a woman for the work that I do, but one of the challenges is when you keep being asked, how do you manage as a woman? I don't think that should be the way. I'm not there because I'm a woman. I'm there maybe because I have something that I'm giving. Yes, but when I keep being asked, then it's like, is there something wrong? And admittedly, there are few women, even in the workplace. I think even statistics indicate that, especially in the higher ranks. So one can be overworked. We want a woman in this committee, we want a woman in that committee, and you find yourself spreading really thin. And if you spread very thin, you may not be able to give your maximum. And so somebody will say, oh, we put a woman there and they didn't quite do it.
Yeah. And also to add on that, being spread very thin, you will find if you're serving somewhere in your professional capacity as a woman, then maybe you go for a meeting and there's like something to be served, a meal to be served, the woman is expected to serve. If there's some running around that is required to be done, not related to your profession, you will find the woman is the one who is given to do in addition to her professional work. So that is another way. Another thing that is coming to my mind, and I get asked sometimes, is that you find as a woman, if you are progressive and you are moving up the career, and let me just say that your husband seems to be behind, for example, you have a PhD, he doesn't have yet. Society expects that the man is the one who needs to be ahead. Yeah. So there will be questions like, is your husband comfortable? How does he feel about it? And as a woman, it's like you feel you need to apologize for your achievements. And many times I have listened, I read some and I've listened, when women are asked, how have you managed to do this? Maybe it's an achievement. Many women will kind of like excuse and say, it's because of the support of my husband and my children and my friends. But when a man is asked, they actually take the honor and they say, yes, I have done it. Hard work and dedication and resilience. So sometimes I feel that as women, we have to apologize for achievements that we make. And yet it's not a competition. Yes.
Yeah, and also, Rose, I don't know if you also you have also that feeling. Is sometimes you have gone to the same school, you have the same qualifications, but in terms of consideration, you see, it seems like the men will have advantages. Yes, even more than what you have. You see, the salary will not be the same while you are doing almost the same thing. I don't know if you have.
I have been bypassed personally many times.
Yes.
And I have clearly been told that for this position, we wanted a man. So you will find sometimes my qualifications and competencies, skills are even better. But I'm told, yes, you are okay, everything, but we wanted a man for this. Yeah.
And that can be painful.
Yeah, it is.
That can be painful. You know, at least tell me I'm incompetent. But yeah, because you feel there's a bit of unfairness there.
May I please just add something? The issue of competition, I think it's just a perception. Because even if you are in the same profession, husband and wife, each one of you is going your own. Yes, we are not competing. Yes, and if women say, I've done this because of my husband, this and that, surely even him, he would not have made it if he didn't get this support from the same team. So I just want to say that the issue of competition is a perception. I don't think it's something that we should think about. Let everybody thrive as wherever they are. Yeah, thank you.
That's true. But I think if I go back to what Rose was saying is, even though you might not feel that it's a competition, the way people look at you because you're a woman, it's almost like they're forcing you to be in a competition that you're not. Like in the case where, you know, you're doing professionally or in your academics better than your husband, people make remarks. And yet they don't make those remarks if the husband is doing better than the wife. It's almost like even when we're not in a competition, sometimes it's like people want to put us in a competition that we don't actually want to belong to.
Yeah. I think that has come out very clearly, that it's not a competition at all, but it's a societal sometimes expectation. My husband started doing his master's before me because I wasn't ready because the children were young. So when the children grew, I decided to enroll for the master's. But for some reason, I managed to finish before him, just before him, I think. And then every time, it was never in my mind, you know, that I've done and finished because we are in different fields and I've never seen it as a competition. But then I would see friends and family would ask, oh, you have graduated with your master's and your husband? And then I would think, oh, you mean there was supposed to be an issue of him graduating before me? So sometimes it's a societal expectation or perception, but really we are not in a competition. Yeah, God never created us to compete with one another.
But to complement.
Complement, exactly.
Yes. I think maybe another thing that we haven't mentioned that is often a problem in the workplace for women, and at the moment it's a big thing in the press, it's actually almost exploded, some people think it might have even gone too far, is the issue of sexual harassment. Fortunately, not all workplaces have that problem, but unfortunately still too many have that kind of problem. And in some workplaces, if as a woman you want to progress, you must give someone a sexual favor. If you're not going to, then you're not going anywhere. And the really tragic thing with that is even when you don't give sexual favors and you climb up, sometimes they'll assume that the reason you are up there is because you slept with someone. You must have slept with someone or done someone a sexual favor in order for you to have gotten there. So I think that's a challenge that men don't probably have to deal with, but which is a reality for many women in the workplaces.
Yeah, it's really terrible. It's really terrible and it's unfortunate. But there are workplaces, you're right, that sexual harassment occurs. And even in places where it doesn't, they say that for a woman, you have to go horizontal for you to go vertical, which really is not correct and which should not be the case.
Yeah, I think many institutions are now coming up with sexual harassment policies, which goes to show that we are acknowledging that this is a problem, and I think women need to speak out on this. But we've also read that there is a minimum of where women also harass men. Yes. But I want to also say that really, if we were like to live as Christians, and I think that is what brings us here, promotion should be merit. We should respect each other, and maybe this has also got to do with our own self-esteem, because it has been noted that those who harass actually have a problem with themselves.
Yeah, and maybe also something else that has come to mind from what Mary has said. Sometimes I've also seen the marital status of a woman comes into play when she's in a work environment, especially when she's thriving, because the perception is that when a woman is thriving professionally, she cannot keep a marriage, so to speak. So you will find people hit below the belt. The ones who say, this woman is not married, she's single, she's this and that. And yet I never hear that as a discussion for men, that he's married or he has 2 wives or he has none. I don't hear. But for a woman, that history of marital history comes so strongly, and it has even brought some women down who are otherwise professionally competent, but just because there's something behind them that society feels is not appropriate, then it becomes an issue. That she can't be a head of this institution and she's not married, for example. She's divorced, she's single, something like that.
I'm happy that now we have policies that address this thing. I think for me, what is very important is to check on the implementation. That is one thing. Policies, yes. Policies. And also for those who are going through it, let them speak out. Because if you have policies advocating for you, but now when something happens, you just keep quiet, it will remain. It will remain. So we need to play our roles and also to make a follow-up. Yes, it has been implemented. Let us see how it works so that we reach the goals, we reach the purpose, and even we solve that problem. Yes.
Empowerment also is important.
Empowerment also
from
is
a very
important.
early age.
Yes.
So that even the girls, as they grow to be women, they know that they should not accept a subservient role or to be abused. That they can speak out and there's help.
And I think it has to begin even before they get to the workplace. Yes. Because if you have in primary schools, girls being molested from primary school, what do you expect when they get to the workplace, if they're fortunate enough to go through and still reach that level?
Because they are used.
They're used
they
to
know
it.
That this is normal.
Part of the culture. Then they go to university, and if they want to have good grades, they have to sleep with such and such a lecturer, and in some places it's just known. If you want to do well, this is how you do well. In some universities it's very rampant. We hear about it. And when they come out of that kind of an environment and they go into the workplace, then the same thing continues. And I think certain companies, also maybe certain professions, have more of a problem than others. In a secular workplace, just the conversation that men have is very... It makes you as a woman feel uncomfortable, that people have to change that culture to know that it's not acceptable to talk in that way. And because they are used to this boys' club where they talk about women in certain ways and whatever, they don't even notice that, oh, there's a woman in the room, maybe this is inappropriate and that kind of a thing. So I think the culture has to change. The education is important, but sometimes it has to start lower down. And even before we can even address the problems in the workplace, even in our schools.
May I just comment that in some of the places I've worked, I've not worked in very many places, but the support women give each other I think is important. Personally, I look at my life and there are about 3 women, I may not even need to mention their names. When I was employed in a university as a tutorial fellow, and this mama just took me in and said, Mary, here you've come to work. I was a student working also at the same time, and she really provided guidance. So they'll say this, but it doesn't have to bother you. They'll do this, ignore them. They will, but stand on your feet. It's almost like have your signature and your space will be protected. But yes, and I think maybe older women, and I'm not talking about age. Exactly. It could be that somebody, yes, maybe somebody has worked in this institution longer or holds some senior position, not necessarily because of their age. So we can help one another.
The mentoring, who can mentor the younger women, work with them. That's very, very important, by the way. Yeah.
And I think if we can just continue along that thread, what other things can we do to meet these challenges? So that's one. You know, if you're in a workforce, look out for other women, particularly if you are in a place where you're very few as women. Know that sometimes our challenges are different from the men, so have each other's backs. You know, try to be a role model for your fellow women, try to mentor them, give them some guidance. What other things can we do to try and meet these challenges that we face in the workforce?
I also think that it's important, I don't know at what level this can be done, but for the men to be empowered, to be sensitized, to support. That a stronger woman doesn't mean a weaker man. We can have a win-win. We can both be strong in our various areas. And then talking about work-life balance. When a woman has given her all at the workplace, she comes home and she's still a mother and a wife, and their expectations. She's still an in-law, a daughter-in-law. I feel at that point she needs support even at the home. She doesn't have to be the one to go and choose her tomatoes, her potatoes. You know, somebody else can be there to do for her, to support, so that then she's able to dedicate herself, at least for a season, to the work, because there are times that the pressure is high. And if there are opportunities for the younger women, younger both in age and even in the workplace, to advance their education, to be very good. If somebody is able to identify, they can then forward and encourage the younger ones to apply and be able to get opportunities to study and improve their skills. Yeah.
And because of that expectation, what I can say is that she has to, from time to time, to look for feedback. Feedback on what she does. Am I doing well in this? If not, how can I improve? Because sometimes you also feel like, yes, I'm doing well, especially for those who are expecting you to reach that level. The commitment you have, and also you look for that feedback, it will also help you even to correct. You see, you have somebody who is mentoring you, but you need also from time to time to see how you are moving on. Am I on the right way? That also will help you. Yes.
I think there's also what we could call benchmarking. Yeah. Reach out to others in similar positions or in similar situations. Yeah, learn from them, compare notes with each other. I think it could be helpful. And also, I've said this before and it has raised controversy, that we also need to reach out to the men and learn with each other. It is not that we are compromising our position as women. I have a friend who says that for a bird to fly, it has to have 2 wings. And in life, we need both men and women. So if we can find a way of creating an environment where we see each other complementary and appreciate, acknowledge what each one of us can do. Yeah, because we also look like we are isolating ourselves as women I think that can be counterproductive.
That's interesting. You said that's controversial. I was waiting to hear what controversial. I don't know why someone would disagree with that. It sounds perfectly logical to me.
Maybe they feel you're not being loyal to your own. I don't know.
Yes, and that this reaching out to the men, does it have other connotations?
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Reaching out.
Yeah.
Or do you have a hidden agenda where you are? Oh, I understand. Yeah. But they're reaching out to benchmark.
And I think related to what Mary was saying, I was thinking that I think it's important also, in spite of the fact that we said it's true, there are challenges being a woman in the workforce. But I think we shouldn't play the victim. I think don't go to work. I don't go to work and think, oh, I'm a woman. No, just go and do your thing. Yes. You know, like Mary said earlier, have your signature. Exactly. You know, put your stamp in your place. Make yourself indispensable. And I don't think people will look at you eternally as a woman. Exactly. There will always be such, chauvinists in society who might try to look down on you, but chances are it's because of their insecurities or the way that they have been brought up. If you can ignore it and keep doing your thing, I think eventually you will find that people will actually come and look for you. Because in most organizations, people want their organization to thrive. And if they know that it's you that has the key to their success, they don't care whether you're wearing a trouser or a skirt. They will still work with you. So I think, yes, it is challenging. Yes, we have our issues and things that we have to deal with that maybe men don't have to deal with, but I think let's not be victims. Let's just go out there, be strong, and do our thing.
And I agree with you. Women, we are created emotional and sensitive beings. But sometimes we may tend to be over-emotional or over-sensitive, being called catching feelings. Yeah. So I think just in the same breath, I want to say that we should not get out of home thinking, oh, I'm a woman, have to work twice as hard. Just step out there and work. Yeah? And success will follow. Yeah.
And also confidence in what you are doing. If you're confident of what you are doing, keep it. But if you know that in this area I have challenges, do not be too shy to ask for help so that people will not find it as a reason. You see, now she's not even able. Yes.
I find that very interesting, Debbie, because I've also struggled in that area, and many ladies have confided in me. Yes. You find there's something I'm doing and people think I'm so good at it, but I don't feel confident. Yeah. And even when I'm given an opportunity to go do it elsewhere, the opportunities I've turned down. Because I'm like, this is too much, I can't. And people are telling me, my husband is saying, no, you are best suited. I'm like, no, this position is too high. And so sometimes I have found that I've had maybe to go in faith and say, but they said I'm good in it, but I really don't think so. And when they say I'm good in it, I have to make apologies. I'm like, really? I don't think so. I just think you like me. Yeah. And many ladies have confided in me. They have said, I don't have the confidence. I don't feel really I can do it. Yeah. So it's an important point.
Yes, many places now have a performance contract. Yes. But I think self-evaluation is also very important. Where even when you find that you have a weakness and you acknowledge it, it is actually a strength. Yes.
Use it as a strength.
Use it as a strength.
As an opportunity. Yes.
Okay, ladies, unfortunately, we've run out of time. So we just have to sum up. So I'm going to ask if you can just have one final message to maybe our working sister who is out there, a word of encouragement that you would like to give them. Mary, we'll start with you.
I would just say that let's thank God for opportunity to have some work to do. And one time somebody told me that it was more the time of paperwork than we have screen now. But the person told me that just know that any piece of paper that passes through your desk has destiny for somebody. So when you are handling this work, just know that it is not work. It's people you are dealing with, and it's just that they cannot come themselves before you. So sometimes they write letters, or somebody writes on their behalf, but just know that the work you do can determine somebody's destiny. So this is a blessing, and if God could help us, that we may just be His vessels. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to say that it's important for all of us to discover our purpose and to live our purpose. And whatever our hands find to do, do it with all your might and with all your strength. And for sure, God will bless the work of your hands.
Yeah, I want to just give this advice to my sister, my brother, that commitment is very important. When you are placed in a position, be committed. Do it with confidence so that the result will help your institution, your company to grow, and also you will contribute to the development. Be confident and also do that self-evaluation. Am I right? Is these people are expected from me that I'm giving with all the strength I have, and also use the weaknesses you have discovered as opportunities to move forward and to also bring a positive fruit in your work. Yes.
My last word would be faithful. Whatever you're doing, do it with dedication, be faithful. Don't look down on the role, the position, the task that you've been given. Whatever it is, do it faithfully. I love the character of Joseph in the Bible. He's working as a slave in a home. I'm imagining he's being given very menial labor to do. He does it so diligently. He keeps rising in the ranks until his master gives him everything and says, I don't even know what I have. It's all in your hands. Everywhere he went to prison. He was put in charge until he became the second in command in Egypt. I love the story of Joseph. Whatever God has put in your hands, do it with diligence. Be faithful with that little, and you never know where God is going to take you next. Thank you, ladies, for your time. Thank you for your words of counsel. Thank you to our audience for having been with us today as we discuss our program. We pray that whatever it is that you're doing, whatever role God has put you in, that He will bless you, and not only bless you, but also use you to be a blessing to others. God bless.